All right, so we've read about Zachary Taylor, the last chance for a Southern slave owning president to possibly do something because he actually had the will to try to do something about the impending Civil War. He's dead. Who becomes president? Millard Fillmore. Millard Fillmore, a man that never actually met Zachary Taylor until after they were elected. He becomes the 13th president of America, and he was president from July 9th, 1850 to March 4th, 1853. I'm going to do a little heads up here. After Taylor, you get a slew of presidents that are basically worthless. You have Taylor, the last good chance at avoiding the Civil War, but he dies. Then you have a slew of pretty pathetic presidents. And then you have Abraham Lincoln. So the next few readings are, these are some pretty slimy individuals, and Fillmore is no exception. Fillmore entered politics in 1828 as a member of the Democratic and Libertarian anti-Masonic movement and the Anti-Masonic Party. In 1834, he followed his political mentor, Thurlow Weed, to the Whigs and was soon recognized as an outstanding leader of the party's northern wings. Following 3 terms in New York State Assembly, 1829-1832, he was elected to Congress a couple different times, where he became a devoted follower of Senator Henry Clay. Losing the New York gubernatorial, that's the governor's election, in 1844, he was easily elected to the first state comptroller 3 years later. As the National Whig Convention in 1848, Zachary Taylor, hero of the Mexican War of 1846 and 1848, was nominated for president. Fillmore was also nominated, but for vice president, largely because Henry Clay sponsored him. Fillmore believed that the Whigs' success at the polls heralded the rise of a truly national party that would occupy a middle ground between the sectional extremists of both North and South. This outlook was embodied in Clay's Compromise of 1850 that Fillmore helped him pass, which sought to appease both sides on the slavery issue. Gone are the days of firm, strong Zachary Taylor. I'm not going to tolerate your nonsense. You're not going to secede. We're not dealing with this nonsense. I'm going to put a stop to it. Gone are those days. Now it's happy everybody get along time. No, nobody's going to get what they want. Everybody's going to have to just choke it down. Welcome to Millard Fillmore land. Fillmore, though, personally was opposed to slavery. He supported the compromise as simply necessary to preserving the Union. When the legislation was finally passed 2 months after Taylor's death, the new president, Fillmore, felt obligated to respect the provision that required the federal government to aid in the capture and return of runaway slaves to their former owners, aka the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, Compromise of 1850. And he publicly announced that if necessary, he would call upon the military to aid in the enforcement of the statute. So if people aren't going to actually do this, I'll call in the military and we will enforce the Fugitive Slave Act. We will return those runaway slaves, whether they're actually runaways or not, to their slave owners. Although this section of the compromise assuaged, calmed down, the South and had the effect of postponing the Civil War for about 10 years, it also meant political death for Fillmore due to its unpopularity in the North. Fillmore was an early champion of American commercial expansion in the Pacific, and in 1853 he sent a fleet of warships under the command of Commodore Matthew C. Perry to Japan to force its shogunate government to alter its traditional isolationism and enter into trade and diplomatic relations with the United States. Basically, sail a bunch of ships over there, point guns at the Japanese, and say, "You're going to trade with us or we're going to shoot you." Millard Fillmore. The resulting Treaty of Kanagawa in 1854 led to similar agreements between Japan and other Western powers, and it marked Japan's birth as a modern state at the point of a gun. In 1852, Millard Fillmore was one of 3 presidential candidates of a divided Whig party in its last national election, which the Whig party lost. With 3 different candidates all dividing up the Whig vote, none of them were going to get enough. He ran again in 1856 as the candidate of the Know Nothing Party, also known as the American Party, also known as we hate everybody who hasn't been here since the Mayflower Party. If you're not white and haven't been here from forever, you're bad. Basically, it's America's first racist political party. Yeah, he was that candidate. Oh, yeah. Finished third behind Democrat James Buchanan and Republican John C. Fremont. Fillmore then retired to Buffalo, where he became a leader in the city's civic and cultural life. So, hope you're learning. Hope you're having fun.